Hello, class. Today I would like to talk to you about zoos and their importance in breeding programs for the endangered species. Splendid poison frog, western black rhino, Alaotra grebe, Bajie dolphin, Murine viviparous tree snail, Spix macaw parrot. Those are few examples of the species that have extinct in the last decade. Why are animals going extinct? There are a lot of different reasons why. Human activity is one of the main reasons. Development for housing, industry, and agriculture reduces the habitats of the native organism. Poaching, pollution, and hunting for sport is another example of human cruel activities. Thousands of animal species extinct due to climate change, lack of genetic diversity, or just simply stronger competition. According to treehugger.com, currently we have 16,306 endangered species threatened with extinction. This number includes both animal and plants. This is up from 16,118 from last year. Ironically, the only hope for all those species' survival is help from us humans. Captive breeding techniques began when the first human domestications of animals, such as goat and plants like wheat, began over 10,000 years ago. These practices were then expanded with the rise of the first zoos. The first actual captive breeding programs were only started in 1960s. These programs, such as the Arabian Oryx breeding program from the Zoo of Phoenix in 1962, were aimed at the reintroduction of this species into the wild. According to the EPA website, these programs expanded under the Endangered Species Act of 1973 of the Nixon administration, which focused on protecting endangered species and their habitats to preserve biodiversity. Nowadays, conservation breeding of threatened and endangered animals are conducted through Species Survival Plan, also known as SSP, coordinated through AZA, Association of Zoos and Aquariums. Led by experts in husbandry, nutrition, veterinary care, behavior, conservation and genetics, AZA manages each species to maximize genetic diversity with the goal of ensuring long-term survival of the population and the good health of individual animals. The list of the species that have recovered thanks to the captive breeding program every year gets larger. The most famous successful captive breeding was the Galapagos giant tortoise. In the 1960s, the population of giant tortoises was reduced to just 15 individual turtles. All of the survivors were taken to a captive breeding center with the aim of repopulating the species. Since then, more than 2,000 of them have been breeded and released back to the wild. Another example of a species that practically was almost extinct in the wild and recovered thanks to the breeding program is the California condor. The California condor was almost wiped out in 1980s. A combination of hunting, accidental poisoning, and the toxic pesticide PDT decimated population until there were fewer than 30. In 1988, the last few of them were captured and taken to the San Diego Zoo. Currently, we have around 330 birds flying free across US. The last example that I would like to talk to you about is the Przewalski horse. Because of the habitat loss and hunting, by the 1960s it was extinct in the wild. A few Przewalski horses remained in zoos around the world. And in 1977, the Foundation for the Preservation and Protection of the Przewalski horse began an exchange of those horses between zoos in an effort to improve genetic diversity. In 1992, 16 horses were released into the wild in Mongolia. The population of this species is getting bigger every year, and now there is a count of around 2,000 horses. The biggest herd is located in Chernobyl exclusion zone where they are not bothered by humans. I started this speech by listing some of the animals that have extinct in the last decade, but I would like to finish it by listing the animals who survived extinction due to zoos and their breeding programs. According to the NPCA website, the California condor, black-footed ferret, golden lion tamarin, red wolf, Przewalski horse, Pacific fisher, bald eagles, desert pupfish, and the bighorn sheep are only few examples of the successful success of breeding programs. Breeding programs for the endangered species in most cases are animals' last hope. Most people think that the only purpose of the zoo is to show animals for profit, and that is not true. Zoos are not only keep helping animals avoid extinction, they also helping educate humans about the different animals and the habitat conservation through programs and activities and the way individual habitats and zoos are being designed for the well-being of animals. Thank you.